Amid the rhythmic pulse of Los Angeles's dance halls, where footwork fuses with emotion in a symphony of sweat and soul, Channing Tatum stepped into the spotlight, not as the Magic Mike stripper king or the step-up heartthrob, but as a man raw with remembrance. At 45, Tatum, whose chiseled frame and easy charisma have anchored blockbusters from 21 Jump Street's comedic chaos to the Lost City's adventurous romps, delivered a tribute that transcended the stage. The occasion? The Dance Hall of Fame ceremony, a glittering homage to movers and shakers who've etched their steps into eternity. But on this Wednesday night, the air thickened with grief's gentle weight as Tatum honored Stephen "tWitch" Boss, the luminous dancer whose light flickered out 3 years prior, leaving an irreplaceable void in the world's joyful cadence. Tatum's voice, usually a vessel for on-screen bravado, trembled with authenticity as he took the podium. "I promised myself I wasn't going to cry," he confessed, the words hanging like a fragile vow in the hushed auditorium. Eyes glistening under the house lights, he plunged into a eulogy that painted Boss not as a distant icon, but as a kindred spirit whose brilliance was as palpable as a shared groove. "To say it's an honor to talk about that man is an understatement," Tatum intoned, his southern drawl softening the edges of sorrow. "He was one of the most brilliant, bright people. He loved so big, and that's why he shone the way he did." It was a portrait of a soul who radiated without effort, whose every twirl and grin pulled others into his orbit, making the mundane magical. Their connection traced back to 2008, a serendipitous collision on the set of So You Think You Can Dance's 4th season. Tatum, already a rising force in Hollywood's dance-driven narratives, stumbled upon Boss's audition footage and was instantly captivated. "My brain couldn't wrap around how this giant, beautiful man was moving like that," he recalled, marveling at the dancer's improbable grace, a towering frame defying physics with fluid, feline precision. But it was more than mechanics. Boss layered humor into his artistry, a comedic spark that ignited laughter amid the competition's intensity. "And then he had to be funny too," Tatum chuckled through the emotion. "Then he smiles and you fall in love with him. That's tWitch." That moniker, tWitch, wasn't just a stage name, it encapsulated a philosophy of infectious energy, a twitch of joy that rippled outward and snaring hearts in its wake. What elevated Boss beyond talent was his alchemy of inspiration. Tatum described him as a catalyst for growth. "He made you want to be better. He accepted you exactly where you were." In an industry that often chews up vulnerability, Boss offered unconditional embrace, a safe harbor for the flawed and the aspiring. For Tatum, a fellow Alabama native whose roots in the heart of Dixie infused his persona with grounded warmth, this resonance ran deep. Their shared heritage, barbecue-scented summers, football fields under Friday night lights, the unhurried twang of Southern hospitality, forged an unspoken bond. It was the kind of connection that transcended scripts and spotlights, rooting in the soil of home. "It was an honor to know him, to call him a friend," Tatum affirmed, his gaze drifting as if chasing memories across the room. "I will see him again." The line, laced with spiritual hope, evoked a reunion beyond the veil, a dance eternal where steps never falter. Admitting a man-crush on Boss wasn't hyperbole, it was Tatum's unfiltered truth, a bromantic nod to the dancer's magnetic pull. In a culture quick to box masculinity into rigid frames, Tatum's confession shattered norms with tender candor. "I even admitted to having a man-crush on Boss," he shared, the phrase landing with playful sincerity. It spoke to admiration's purest form, not romantic in the conventional sense, but profound, a crush of the spirit that honors another's light without dimming one's own. Boss, with his Emmy-winning flair on The Ellen DeGeneres Show and his viral wedding dances that blended hip-hop fire with heartfelt whimsy, embodied this. His life was a masterclass in levity amid labor, turning rehearsals into revelries and setbacks into setups for comebacks. Reflecting on Boss's legacy invites a broader meditation on dance's redemptive power. From Tatum's breakout in Step Up, where rain-slicked streets became stages for forbidden romance, to Magic Mike's unapologetic celebration of the male form's artistry, his career has always orbited movement's transformative magic. Boss, too, was a bridge builder, from SYTYCD's competitive crucible to Ellen's daytime dominion, where he DJ'd joy into living rooms worldwide. Their paths intertwined in Hollywood's kinetic ecosystem, collaborators in a craft that demands vulnerability as much as virtuosity. Tatum's tribute then wasn't isolated, it wove into a larger tapestry of mourning and memorial, echoing the ceremony's mission to canonize those who've grooved through adversity. 3 years on, Boss's absence aches like a phantom limb in the dance community. His 2022 passing, a tragic enigma that stunned fans from coast to coast, prompted waves of reflection on mental health's silent storms. Tatum's words honor not just the performer but the person, a husband to Allison Holker, a father whose laughter lessons outlived him. In Tatum's recounting, Boss emerges as a beacon, loving expansively, accepting wholly, shining relentlessly. He loved so big, Tatum repeated, the refrain a heartbeat underscoring the eulogy. It's a legacy that challenges survivors to emulate, to twitch with purpose in a world that sometimes forgets to move. As the ceremony's applause swelled, Tatum stepped back, his promise of composure honorably bent but not broken. In that moment he embodied the tribute's essence: vulnerability as strength, memory as motion. For fans who've grooved to his film's beats, this glimpse into Tatum's heart adds depth to the star. A man who, like Boss, uses his platform to uplift. The Dance Hall of Fame that night wasn't merely an induction. It was a resurrection, Boss's spirit summoned through stories shared in solidarity. And in Tatum's man-crushed confession, we find permission to love boldly, across genders and genres, in the grand, improvisational dance of life. Twitch's light endures, a twitch in the collective soul, reminding us that the best steps are those taken with heart wide open.